everybody. KMK here with you on a Monday night on G-Force TV for ONTrack Weekly. Yes, we're still going throughout the holiday season, and I'm actually excited that we're going to keep going. Actually, it'll be quiet. I can tell you right now, we won't probably be having as many guests as normal. It is very difficult at this time of the year to get guests, but I do want to thank Colton Everingham for offering to come on and pinch hit once again. We'll end the show kind of with some Q&A, if anything. So if you have questions that you want to talk about or content that you want to get talked about, definitely post it in the comments, and we'll get to it at the end of the show. We have a really cool group of guests tonight as well. Three of these guests have not been on this show before. I believe Billy Zardo actually has been before, but Kara Martin from the V8 Stock division, formerly actually the Bone Stock division at Delaware Speedway. She's going to be on as our first guest tonight, former lady of the Oval sponsorship winner. And then she's also been a part of Grand Bend's history as well. So we'll get a little bit of conversation going with Kara and hear kind of how things have gone for her. I mean, she's been in that V8 stock division. I think this is her second year and potentially going into her third year at Delaware Speedway in that division. A pretty tricky division as well because it's not a straight up race sim division. You've got to meet a time requirement. Billy Zardo is going to be along, and he was questioning. He's like, I don't know what we're going to talk about because hey, I haven't raced that much in the last year, but he's busy as being a father, and he is also a longtime competitor at Sunset Speedway. So I want to get his kind of thoughts on everything that's going on there and where he sees potentially people going in the future, and if things are hopeful for that track in the future. Obviously, he's grown up at that facility and has played a big role in Ontario racing. Corey Horn from Peterborough Speedway has got some changes going on in 2025, moving to a different division after kind of ending back up in the bone stock division, actually, which was not his plan initially in 2025. And then Ontario Legend Car Series winner and I believe former champion Adam Cuthbertson is going to join as well to end our guest list tonight. This has been one in the making, but I mean Adam's been doing the Legend Car game a lot longer than many, so I'm excited to see kind of what we can get out of Adam and definitely hear from him because the landscape is changing in the Ontario Legend Car Series. Legends as a whole in the province are they're getting more and more interesting. The more and more names that we have that go to these divisions and become part of them and making their presence felt. Obviously, Adam's now seeing his son Luke fulfill his racing dream in the Ontario Bandoleros. So, it's second generation. We could talk about another second generation racer right now, and she's been a staple at Delaware Speedway the last couple of seasons, and now she's once again going to be competing in their V8 stock series for her family team, Martin Racing, then 53. And she's going to join me now. And Kara Martin is here on the show tonight. And, it's been, I don't know, it feels like forever since I saw her last because it was at Motorama. Even though you had a full season of racing aside from that. But Kara, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
It's absolutely no problem.
So first off, we know that things are a little busy for you because you're not at the racetrack, but at university right now. So hopefully that's going all well for you.
Yeah, this is my little study break.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope it's. I can't say that I would like to go back to those days of school. Definitely college was my favorite, but yeah, exam time, no thanks. But yeah, it's great. I wanted to have you on the show because obviously you've been a big part of the Delaware Speedway landscape the last couple of years, and let's talk about this past year. It was a little bit weird for you because you didn't get to really get as much racing as you were hoping in because you did have an incident that did kind of did some damage. So let's talk about the 2025 season. How would you say this year went for you?
Not exactly as planned. It was The beginning of the season was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a learning curve, getting still used to the car and learning new things, learning put a different setup in it, so learning a new setup, and then the end of the year it kind of just all started to fall apart.
Just a little bit, but you were able to get out there and compete in this division. That's, I think it's an admirable choice by Delaware to really make the V8 stock something special. It struggled. I mean, you've seen it. You were there in the bone stock division, seeing how V8's got like 6 cars each week, and now, um, if I'm not mistaken, you averaged more than the NASCAR Canada Series cars when they were there for the Delaware weekend. So on a weekly basis, you guys have quite a decent field of cars.
Yeah, we do. We did end up averaging, I think there was about, I want to say 4 or 5 more of us than the NASCAR guys, which was actually kind of cool to see because we were all like wondering, oh, who's gonna have more? Like, how's that gonna work? And then when we saw it, we're like, okay, like, and I thought about it. I was like, I didn't race in this division when it started, but when it started, this would have never been possible.
It really wouldn't have. And the funny thing about this division is it's not, as I was mentioning it just on the top of the show, it's not a straight up race what you got. It's a little bit more of I don't even know if I call it a strategy series. Like, what would you call it? Because it's not pedal to the metal the entire way because you can't. So how would you kind of describe what it is to race in this class?
It's difficult because you get that urge to go full speed, and you'll notice when we do get that urge because we will break out really quickly.
Yeah,
It's a strategy game. You have to learn to do the math off the track of the distance between a car, how much you gain, to how much feet, to how many tenths that is. But and then you can't apply that well in a race car because you got so many other things to focus on that you can't be like, oh, I gained a
yeah,
foot. I'm
yeah,
going to be a
exactly.
tenth faster. Like
Yeah,
you
and then
can't.
you-
It's
you've got guys in this division that have been doing this for Doug Stewart. I'm just going to throw it out there for like 42 years. He's been doing this deal, and even he's still struggling with the breakout aspect. When you're behind the wheel, like you said, it's difficult, but like you're coming from racing Grand Bend, you're coming from racing the Delaware Bone Stocks, where you are full out pedal to the metal the entire way. So how do you tell yourself no? I have to go slower. Like it seems hard.
it's really hard, and I like to think about it this way. I can go as fast as I want in my first practice. Then you have to get in the mindset I can't keep breaking out. Second practice is ease yourself off,
Yeah.
figure out your groove. And I've always been let's aim for a 21.3 and see how consistently you can run that.
Was it difficult that first? Because your rookie season in any division is difficult, but you went from a bone stock right into this division. This is an old Steve McCaw hot rod, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, it is.
So it was a pretty great car, and now you've got to slow it down to win and do quite well. Now you've done that. You've got heat race victory, and you've placed in the top five several times. So it's not impossible to get up there, but how do those guys like Jordan Morris, how are they, and Barry Watson especially, how are they able to do this so well?
I don't know. I was talking to Barry the one night after the track. I was like, okay, like, how do you get so close to breakout time? He goes, I think it's just luck. He goes, it honestly
Really?
could be the way the car's handling that day. Because you could go one day, you're running 21 flats, and then the next week you change nothing, you're running 21 eights. He goes, it all depends on the weather, the wind, the sun, the heat, the cars that are at the track.
Have you found that that you like this type of racing, or you would prefer to go back to the just balls to the wall, like flat down, rush to the pedal to the metal, and doesn't matter what else happens on the track, you're just gonna go for it.
I kind of like this racing
Oh
because
yeah.
it always is a battle. Like, it's not one person's going to pull away because you
Mhm.
could pull away, that field could catch you right back the next lap.
It's been seen actually several times, and this was a little bit weird for you guys this year. I mean, you had a massive accident on the backstretch, and it didn't look And I say massive really because Caden's part of the crash was
But
actually his was massive. Yours really didn't look that difficult, but we've talked in the past, and you got injured, but it didn't seem like it was a quote typical kind of injury. It was more of a like a reflex or something just kind of hit the wrong way, because you've seen guys that have like Connor Van Steensel and Doug Stewart that have destroyed turn two or turn three, written off their cars and been fine. But this one was a little weird. Like, what happened from your vantage point behind the wheel, and how did you know that you were hurt at the time?
so when we came into the corner and we touched, like, yeah, I made a mistake and I got the car loose and I overcorrected it and that, but mistakes happen. Me and
Yeah,
Kaden talked about it after and we were very chill and we both apologized for the mistakes that we made during that wreck.
yeah.
But it was more as soon as the car got airborne, as soon as it landed back on the wheels, I knew something was wrong because it just sent this major thing down my legs. Like my whole body kind of just like went in and I was like screaming at first and I was like, okay, like and then the car stopped and I was like, okay, like I think I'm okay. And I went to go undo my belt and I was like, yeah, I'm not okay. Like and I just sat there.
It's crazy because it's so similar to, in a way, to like what Corey McAllister had in a late model. It's that those up in the air bits, and from the broadcast, it didn't look like you caught like what Corey were like ramped up, like he massively ramped
Yeah,
up.
I wasn't that
It
high.
wasn't that high, but it shows that that type of hit can do that type of damage. But how are you feeling? Are you fully recovered?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, fully recovered. I was trying to convince my parents 4 weeks after the thing, let me race, I want to race. And they're like, no.
No. And the plans for this year, Kara, are you going to go back to do V8 stock again this year, battle for the championship, beat your dad once again because you were able to do that last year?
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm hoping to actually fully beat them in the points. We ended up actually finishing the season tied, and then it just came off to our average, and I was like, no, I can do better than that. So,
Yeah, I think so. I think it can be done, right? Like obviously, this division is working. It's going very, very well. I think, we see that when a division is struggling, you have to kind of make that decision, and you have to decide. You made this move to go into V8 stock racing, and I know we've been teasing this, but are we going to see your buddy, your pal Jesse Howard finally get into the V8 stocks this year and race against you? Or are you going to battle her dad still in that number three car?
I keep telling her to get in the car, and she keeps telling me she's not ready. And I've told her multiple times she is more than capable. And I've told her, I was like, hop in my car, take it out for a couple laps, see how you like it, because she'll fit in my car. And she's like, no, I'm just scared. I'm like, but you got this. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I would love to race out against her, and she's an amazing driver to race against.
We definitely need like we definitely need more women in that division. It's just you for right now, and that's just not fair. You got to have more lady power out there in the V8 stock division. But you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I like getting to see that beautiful 53 car out there. You got a Leah. I'm sure it was a little worse for wear at the end of the year, but
Not going to look the same
no,
anymore.
it's not. You've been teasing that it's going to go through a little bit of a fixer upper, which is great stuff. But if people want to follow along with you, Kara, in your racing in 2026, how can they do that?
My mom owns her like Facebook page, so I definitely go off that. I believe it's called Merchant Racing or
It
Merchant
is
Family
Martin
Racing,
Racing. There you go. I
and
I think um I think it's going to be a good year. I think after a season like that, where it was kind of up and down and then up again, I think you're ready for it. And you know what? I'm excited to see you back out there, Kara. But we're gonna have you on again, and we'll chat some more because I think we're gonna have a Grand Bend episode in it. And obviously, as a graduate of Grand Bend and a former champion at Grand Bend Speedway, you're kind of one of the best people to ask about it. One of the things that has been, we've talked about quite a lot is it seems to be a great track for learning and for the young kids that are coming up and eventually to graduate. Do you feel that Grand Bend did help you for coming to Delaware Speedway, and just especially because you started in a in the bone stock division at Delaware, but that wasn't what you started in at Grand Bend. You got lots of experience behind the wheel driving in that division.
It's definitely a great track to learn at. That bell ring at the top of it, it's the most difficult thing because some certain cars you actually have to take that corner, and other cars you take it straight. But the corners are so tight, and you have to get the perfect gas point that you learn how to correct a car when you're off by an inch and the car goes sideways. It's the most perfect track to learn at.
You know what, and I've heard this and I've seen it, and I'm glad that I see, Chris Lawrence is putting some kid stock cars together again for this year. So hopefully that their division will thrive. But you know what, Kara, I wish you the very best for the holiday season, and let's chat in the new year.
Okay.
That's Kara Martin from Delaware Speedway joining here on ONTrack Weekly. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we got to have Kara on the show tonight, and we'll definitely have her on again because she's a good source of what's going on in that V8 stock division. And you want to. The show is not just about one track or another. It's talking to all different racers from across the board. And one of the names that man, I love talking to this guy. He's just one of our he's been one of the guys that really since we kind of got into the motorsports kind of thing, the game really, he's been a part of it. Frankly, I don't even know how it's started. It may have been OSS when he was driving for Tim Tolton, I think, but Billy Zardo has been at it. I think it just need him to turn on his camera. And there we go. And he's here.
Can you hear
It
me?
feels like it's been a while, Billy, but it really hasn't. I mean, I saw you this year. You've been a busy guy at home, I assume. How are things with being father, Billy?
Yeah, things are going great being a father. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm trying not to talk too loud because we just put the baby to bed there not too long ago. No, things are I'm riding a really big wave right now and I'm enjoying fatherhood and um I'm there for all the little things, all the big things, and every small thing's exciting. I never thought I'd be that person to walk up to someone and say, "Hey, look at my kid." Well, look at him walking or look at him saying help, but no, I'm definitely enjoying it.
It's one of those things that we talked with Ryan Dyson. He's going through that right now as well, and actually he's got another one on the way. So congratulations to him. I know Dylan Wills out in Peterborough. He's got another one that they've just been lucky to have. AJ Ems was it's a baby mania this year in 2026, but you're able to get out there a little bit this year. I mean, it wasn't a ton of racing for you, but I know you got a couple out there. It was not the easiest, unfortunately, of years for you and the team. But overall, it was nice to be back out at the track for a couple of events.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having a baby definitely changes your perspective of life and shows you what's important. And racing takes a step backwards, which I don't want to be anywhere else except with my son, right? So when we can race, when the car's ready, when we have the funds, we're there. Racing will always be a part of my life. That's number one for sure. Just the racing's always going to be around in one form in my life. So, like I said, I want to be there for from the first step to the first time he swims by himself. We take him swimming every Sunday. So,
Nice.
um, yeah, he's enjoying it. But as far as the racing goes, yeah, we got out when we could. This year was a little bit tougher. Some of our main sponsors had some issues um, financially, so we just did what we could, and with some awesome help from the Todish family, getting out to Peterborough Speedway, or sorry, getting out to Flamborough Speedway and then help from JP and some other sponsors to get over to Peterborough. We were able to cap that off. I mean, um, the way I've always looked at Zardo Racing is it's not just me. It wasn't just my grandfather. It's not just my brother. It, it's a whole team effort. So um, anything anybody can put into the car to get the car on the track, whether it's myself or my brother driving our home cars, is always appreciated, and we always want to have a number 46 out on that track.
I think as a general sense of the racing community, I'm able to, talk with a lot of people, and I can say that that's what people want. There was something special this year, obviously in two different circumstances. Obviously, it didn't really end that great, and it was such a heartbreaker to see it happen so early in the season. Was the mechanical issue that took Lane out of the Oscar hot rod event early and resulted in a flip. And I don't know how bad the car is following all of that, but obviously not how you'd want to start the year. But I actually think it kind of bookended really well with the street stock coming back out and just seeing a 46 on there. Yeah, it was Steve's, but the 46 in the straight stock division was really nice to see, and to see Lane kind of come away with the wins on that night at a track that means so much to you guys in Sunset Speedway. It must have been a really good feeling to see that.
Absolutely. I mean, first, like with the Oscar hot rod there, my brother put so much into that. I took quite a back seat. I was in the back of the bus, so to speak, when I came
Mm-hmm.
to working on that car, because anytime I was at the shop, I was basically working on the late model. Um, and my brother just put everything he possibly had into that. And yeah, of course, that was a heartbreaker. But I mean, my brother's flipped before. He's been on top of the wall before. I got hooked taking the green flag. We've destroyed race cars. You, in this sport, you're always gonna lose more than you win,
Yeah,
unless you have those phenomenal years, which few come across, right? So the way I just look at it is we don't race generally just to win or to compete. We 90% of racing, for me at least, and I'm sure my brother will say the same, is for what we can accomplish in the shop.
yeah,
Rising from some defeat and rebuilding the car. Or a couple years ago when I caught fire leaving the pits, what a heartbreak that was.
yeah.
And, we rebuilt the whole front end and all the wiring and everything with huge help from many people, John Tooney, our whole pit crew and everything. So racing is not just racing, if that makes sense. It's there's a lot more to it. And Steve Perry's car was awesome to see out there. It was the first Thunder car my brother ever raced against me. Frostfest 2000 and I don't even remember, 9 maybe,
Wow.
2010, no, 9 or 8, somewhere around there.
I
Anyway,
think you're
yeah,
2008, 9. I think you're right.
we're close. So I mean, it was really cool to see that car out there, and then there was the other old Steve Perry car out there that still
Yes,
had the
Drew
paint.
Richardson's. Yeah.
And I was walking up and down the pits, and there was a handful of cars I recognized that I used to race against back at Flamborough when I started racing Thunder cars. So it's wicked to see that class come over to Sunset and put on an amazing show. And like Lane didn't walk away from it
No.
in either of the races. Like they put on crazy battles all the way through the field. So that was really cool to see. And I know it put a little more pep in Steve Perry's step. He kind of had to walk away from racing due to his own personal health issues, but
Mhm.
like he's always right in there. Anytime we call him to ask for help, he's always right there working on either the late model. He's a part of helping what he can with Lane Superstock. He's always there helping. So I mean, it was awesome to see his car go out there, and he had just as much fun as Lane did. He even got to do some laps in it over at Flamborough to
That's
kind of
right.
rekindle things. Yeah. So
I just for me, I'm a latecomer to the Ontario racing scene, right? So for me, I knew of these cars back from when I first started watching CASCAR. Like that's how I got to know them. They were companion events. And I still remember the Thunder car race. I talked about it on Stickers and Scuffs on Friday. That, I remember a three wide finish at Peterborough Speedway with Vince Bullrice on the outside taking the win. Thunder cars that's what I knew.
Yep.
And I generally feel like when they were on the track, there seemed to be a bigger energy. And I don't know what people think of it, but I've talked with Jake Party enough that I think there'd be enough interest if they wanted to do that straight stock deal every year at a if it's a rotating at different tracks. I think as a special attraction, it would get a ton of love and get guys that would bring their cars out. You know, like you said,
Absolutely.
you got Steve that brought his out, and I'm sure there's a lot more that are sitting around.
Absolutely. Actually, me and Jake were talking about that quite a bit. Um, First time I met him was this year. A great guy.
Yeah, he is.
We chatted quite a bit there, and I told him like, from my perspective, if you want to do some sort of traveling, as long as you speak to the drivers, you keep the cost down, and you don't overdo it. Don't
Yes.
think more is better, because it's not. Because you guys got something going right now that's really good. You have a good amount of cars, and you have cars from all over the place that could end up at other tracks.
Yeah.
As long as you don't wear these cars out and drivers start racing every single weekend and asking guys to go from Flamborough to Sauble to Varney, all within a month or two. Like you can't do that, because then the traveling just costs too much, and,
Yeah.
and guys won't be able to come except for the locals.
Yeah.
So um, he had some good ideas, and we were kind of bouncing some things back and forth, and just shooting the shit. And I'm excited to see what he's got planned for those guys, because I think if it gets done right, again, money's got to come from somewhere. Um, if you can grab the right toes and shake the right hands and kiss the right babies, so to speak, you'll uh, you'll be able to come up with something pretty cool there.
I definitely agree. I think that's actually a great point because obviously, yes, the money. But I think I want to touch on something that you just said, which is a very true point, and I think is something that gets, unfortunately, is a big part of racing issues right now. Is it being overdone, and doing it the right way. And unfortunately, what we tend to do is we go a little too quickly, right? And we'll take one division and then do it to death.
Yep,
You can't do that. We don't have enough cars. We don't have enough racing time to do it. So right now, I'm okay with it being an end of the year special.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know,
and slowly work your way up from there, without overdoing it. Like,
yeah.
perfect example is what Justin Collison's doing.
It's just about to bring him up. I
You,
think that's
you don't
exactly it.
need Right now. You don't need more than 5 races.
No,
You start doing 8, 10 races. Well, I mean, that's 5 more races people have to do or whatever, right? The- We're None of us are doing this for a living.
no, nope.
As much as we all want to, as much as we sometimes tell our friends and people from outside of the racing world, I'm a rock star race car driver, whatever, right? So we all have jobs and families to go home to. And I'll take the late model for a perfect example. Like, to race a late model on a weekly schedule, especially the APC series, you have to be 1,000,000% dedicated. It's not just about maintenance. It's not just about setting up your tires. It's about doing everything through the roll center, the bump, um, caster, camber, every weekend. And then besides the race car, you got to go through all your spare tools. You got to make sure this is ready. You got to call Grisdale's, make sure your tires are getting set. You got to drop off your rims over to Grisdale's. There's a lot to it. So in basically what I think is, you can't you can't push a series too far. You can't have too much going on at once. And
I think you're onto something there because
yeah, like,
we were having this conversation on Friday, actually, Graydon and I, about we kind of I think people feel quantity is better, and that's just not the truth anymore. Steve McCaw had a great um, he had a great point about getting the shows in. We
Yeah.
talked with who was it on Friday night? Now I'm trying to remember because I have terrible memory now that I turned I'm in my mid 30s, but Dan
Well,
McCarty.
also, hey, the more people you start knowing, the more people you almost forget.
True enough. It
Don't
was
forget, in the little amount of years you've been doing this, you've met a lot of people. So
yeah, we really have. Dan McCarty, that's who it was. Dan McCarty, who was a brilliant, brilliant man, but he basically said, you don't need a 3 hour show anymore. Like you don't, if you're gonna do it in 3 hours, less than the 6 to 8 hour shows we've been seeing, because
yeah,
families with kids, they're not staying until midnight to watch racing. It's not doable. Instead of having 7 or 8 divisions on one night, do three.
yep, yep,
Maximize your efforts. Maybe minimize the amount of potential issues that you might have with if a heat race takes 45 minutes to get done with, then maybe you don't let it run 45 minutes. There's things that we're going to have to do because attention spans are at their weakest that they've ever been. People just don't have the attention span to watch a 3 hour race or 9 hours of racing, except for diehards, and that's not who you need to try and get to the track. It's the new faces. So
exactly. Yeah,
um,
the weekly series need to cut their show times for sure. I mean, I'm never against the 2, 3 day weekends like the autumn colors because
yes,
the frost
absolutely.
time, that kind of stuff, because
Yeah,
that brings a different,
it's a different
you know,
audience,
excitement's not even the right word. There's something
an aura
that
to it, really.
yeah, there's something that makes, the chills go through and everything when you
Yeah,
walk into the pits on those kinds of races. But definitely for the normal Saturday night show, it doesn't need to be super long. Another thing is, like, as a fan of racing, you shouldn't have to pick what late model race to go to. As a fan of a
it's a good one.
modified race, you shouldn't have to pick what modified race to go to. I understand the bone stocks and the mini stocks as
Mhm.
they're a support series, and there's phenomenal racing everywhere you go. You go Delaware, Flamborough, Salt, everywhere. Um, and there's so many of them. Of course, you have to kind of run them on a weekly basis type thing, but there shouldn't be a $10,000 to win over here and a $5,000 to win over there. Well, maybe the $5,000 to win pulled every ask and every favor they possibly could to get that $5,000 to win. Meanwhile, the 10 grand guy, or track, I should say, they have another 3 10 grand shows. So I've always said tracks need to work together. I've always
Yes.
said there should never be less than 15 late models on the track. There shouldn't be,
Yeah.
because why can't it's tough because they're competition. Racetracks are competition with each other. I understand that. You're all in it to make money.
But for the betterment of the
You're a
show,
business. You're a business. But
it is.
instead of racing 5 times a month, why don't you race 3 times a month? You know what I'm saying? And have bigger shows on
Yeah.
those 3 days,
Yeah.
and it, have other massive series on those other weekends. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as a late model fan myself, I should never have to ask, okay, well, am I going to go to Flamborough, or am I going to go to Sunset, or am I going to go to Peterborough? You know what I mean?
I do, and I really want to have you back on the show, Billy,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
we've got to be able to continue because I think we made some good conversation here tonight, and I think that this is a conversation that more people will get a part of. It's difficult during the holiday season to get people to be on and to talk about stuff, but I think we're on to something here, and I'd love to talk more with you about it. But unfortunately, we are out of time for your segment, and then we've got two others behind you. But I want to thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Billy, for coming on and chat with me, and the best for the holiday season, and hopefully Santa's nice to your little man this year, and he gets his first race car.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Cam. I appreciate it, you as always, and cheers to everybody else.
That's Billy Zardo, our good friend here from the show, which we'll have him on. I think Billy offers a lot to his insight, obviously being a racer for a long time. And speaking of a racer for quite a while, Corey Horn joins me on the show and out of Peterborough Speedway. And I've wanted to have Corey on the show for quite a while. And I'm glad finally we were able to do this. Corey, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Cam. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, not a problem. First off, I would just want to ask how you're feeling because I know you've been hard at work. You've got yourself a new toy to play with for 2026, and it's a pretty good piece. And I want to know a little bit more about what you've got planned.
Oh, I'm just doing a complete overhaul on this car. I'm ripping it all down, replacing pretty much everything I can replace on it. New sheet metal, new motor, new transmission. I'm not playing around. Like, I'm going all in on this car. It's going to be a good car for next season, that's for sure.
And you're not doing the bone stock deal anymore, or are you just going to focus on one?
Well, we got me and Wayne. We're a team for next season, so we got 2 cars going to be out on the track, and we got to get his car ready too. So it's going to be a really crazy couple months, that's for sure.
So you're going.
I'm not looking forward to it, but it is what it is, right?
Well, you signed up for it now, so it's too late to turn back.
The fun never stops.
So I believe this is an old Brandon Feeney car from last year. This is the one that I don't know if there was such a thing as luck for it, because if Brandon had luck, it was all bad. Unfortunately, it was a really rough year for our man Brandon. But you picked up this car, and the bone stock is gone now. So why are we going mini stock racing, Corey?
I always wanted to do mini stocks for years. It's just like, over the last couple of years, the time and the money wasn't there and the sponsorship, and I just wanted to do it sooner, but until this car came along, the right deal, and I bought it and I sold my bone stock. So yeah, it was time, right, and just waiting on the right opportunity for a good car to show up.
Last year you weren't planning on running the bone stock. Actually, you were more or less going to be in the Renegade truck, and then kind of a couple races into the season that didn't happen. You switched.
Yeah, it was a pretty chaotic season, that's for sure. It was like one race after another. It was like, first race, Johnny was like laps away from his first feature win and got near crash. And the next race, Dwayne crashed my other car and just wrote it off pretty much. And a week later, I get a phone call from Johnny saying, "Oh, he's hurt. I can't drive for the next couple months." So I'm like, now I gotta do the truck plus the bone stock, and it was just all over the place. It was just pretty chaotic season for me personally, but in the whole truck deal, like, it was just hard for Chuck and Carol, and it was hard for me to really do a full season with the truck. It was just like we agreed. It's just like it was better just to focus. Their focus on their mini stock and me focus on my bone stock, right, for the rest of the season. So, but we had some good runs with the bone stocks. Just it was an okay season, I guess, after all the craziness, I guess, but. What else? It is what it is, right?
I thought you were. I mean, yeah, you were very competitive, and that division I thought actually was a bit of a gem last year. Actually, the bone stock division as a whole was very fun to watch at Peterborough Speedway. It's going to go through a major transition this year. Lots of faces going in and out of it. But that's the same kind of for mini stock, as far as my understanding is. There's lots of names coming over, plus potentially names that we don't really know yet 100% if people from Sunset are going to come over and compete in the mini stock division. I know of a couple at least that will be. So obviously this is a little different for you because now you're going to go at this with really no mini stock experience. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm going to be like that guy out there all over the place. I'm like, what to do? Like, I'm not new to this. Don't give me a hard time. But
we don't need a Ricky Bobby. Was that the other cars?
Yeah, I'm going to be like that guy. But yeah, it's going to be all new to me too for next season. It's just pretty much starting all over. Like, I pretty much had the bone stocks figured out, and now I'm starting all over with the mini stocks this year. So yeah, it's going to be a learning curve.
I was going to say, are you excited about that?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. See, that's what you want to hear. You want to have racers. You want to be in a division that excites you. You know, not one that drives you crazy. And we know that there was a couple of people last year that were getting driven a little bit nuts by how things are going in the bone stock division. But as a whole, I think you can probably say, I think that Peterborough division pretty impressive that you guys would have, I think, somewhere between any week you would have upwards of 14 to 20 cars on the regular. And it must, I mean, I thought it looked like a fun class to drive in because there was just every week, there really wasn't a guy. I mean, Jacob maybe towards the end of the year became a little bit tougher, but there was really no one guy that dominated and won everything.
Yeah, like it was like like everyone like this year was like pretty much the same pace. Like you didn't know who was going to win the heat races or the feature. Like everyone was very competitive this season. It was really like the years I raced there. This is like probably the best bone stock season we had in a long time, right?
It really felt that way, and I'm excited to see kind of now the mini stocks go through that because let's be honest, again, last year, Mike he and John kind of controlled the entire season. The rest of the field was there. Unfortunately, obviously, Crick had his trip in the sky at sunset, and Tyler had his engine issues, and it wasn't what we were hoping for, unfortunately, in that division. But this year, again, it feels once again that you guys are potentially going to have a lot of faces out there competing. What's the big thing though that you guys are going to have to do to be competitive? Obviously, I know you've talked about working on the actual car itself, but you as a driver, what is the thing that you, and I guess in a way to instill in Wayne as well, because he is still kind of a rookie at this deal.
Yeah. Like I said to him too, like just the first couple of races, just go out there and learn the car and get the feel for it. And we can like start messing around with the tire pressures, cambers, weights, all that stuff later on. But yeah, like for me, like I want to just go out there like the first couple of races and just get the feel for the track. It's all like it's a whole completely different car, everything, right? So like just really just go out there and learn this season mostly, but also have some good runs and get some good finishes too. That's what I really want to get do. But yeah.
Are we gonna see the dual paint schemes again? Because I love that.
We're working on some he's been messing around with the AI stuff and he's been coming up with some really good paint jobs. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna probably do the same paint job, same numbers like we did this season,
Yeah,
right?
nice. I like that. I thought it worked really well because
Yeah.
I know I look on the track and I'm like, I know those are Corey Horn cars. I know that's that team. So I'm looking forward to it. You did get an opportunity, like I said, to drive in the Renegade Truck division. I don't know about you. I kind of feel that division is an untapped potential. I think it's a really good gem of a little tiny division within the track.
Yeah.
Why is it that we don't see as many out there? Is it just availability of trucks is weak, or cost? Like, why do you think that is?
It's mostly like the cost and
Yeah,
stuff. Like I know like there's some guys that have like a lot of money in their trucks and their motors and stuff, and it's hard to compete against those guys. And like
yeah,
some of the other guys just like probably like, just gave it up, sold it. But yeah, it's like it's hard to compete when you got people out there spend like a lot of money on their trucks. Like it was kind of like a more like affordable class, but now it's just getting to the point where you got to spend the money to be competitive in that class. And
yeah.
like when I went out there, like I did the RA with the truck that we had out there, but so I was nowhere close to their pace out there.
Yeah,
But I had fun, so
I mean, that's all that matters. I love it. I love what Stacy and Steven and what
yeah,
Paul in the past have done with their trucks. I like kind of having a cool brand on it. Like it reminds me of
yeah,
monster trucks, like
yeah,
what the Monster Jam does by having a brand, kind of like Tonka, or his was Stevens is the Hulk, and then Feeney had the Pikachu uh,
yeah.
truck for a long time. He had the Hot Wheels truck before that. So I think it brings a lot of stuff. But I'm looking forward to this year. Seeing you guys out there in the mini stock division, and I wish I had more time. Unfortunately, I don't because I'm running behind. But Corey, best of luck this year. How can people follow along with you and your team on social media?
I just pretty much have just a Facebook page. I don't do Instagram or TikTok and all that stuff. But yeah, just my Facebook page, Corey Horn Racing. You can follow us on there and keep up with the updates and stuff. And also on Jomo
Yes.
later on. Yeah, don't forget about him, John. He does amazing work for me, and I really looking forward to working with him again. So
That is, he's the man, Jomo Media and John
yeah,
Morrison. So definitely follow along, follow Corey Horn Racing this year as they make their foray into mini stocks. And Corey, best for the holiday season, and thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
yeah. Thanks for having me. Merry Christmas and have a good one.
Thank you, Corey. That is Corey Horn from Peterborough Speedway. And we'll talk more about kind of guys that they've been visitors to Peterborough Speedway quite often, and he's been someone that is well known because he's been quite successful at Peterborough and of course a lot of other tracks as part of the Ontario Legend Car Series, and that is Adam Cuthbertson making his debut here on ONTrack Weekly, and I'm excited for this because I know Adam Cuthbertson from being in the Legend Car before I actually got involved in motorsports. So I didn't know that was his name, but I did know his number. So Adam, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me on. I know you've invited me on before and it never worked out, but appreciate the opportunity to come on your show tonight.
Oh, it's just, you're a busy family man. That's really what it is. You got hockey, you've got a son that's racing. It's got to be fun for you, man, getting to go out there and see Luke achieve his racing dreams and being out there in the Ontario Bandoleros, kind of racing alongside you. It's definitely got to be a fun experience as a parent to see him go out there and make those small gains and successes from race to race.
Oh yeah, it was a big learning year for him. The first year we went out there and it was a much smaller group and seemed like the cars were running slower. And then this year everybody elevated their game, right? And Luke had to try and play catch up, right? And we went out there and we had a rough start. We put a bunch of time and effort into that race car, getting it painted nice, and it was wrapped like Grave Digger. Our sponsor did that for us, Pigeon River Promotions, and got it wrapped real nice. And he went out for the first session of practice at Sunset Speedway and turned it around in practice and put it in the wall and ended our night in practice, which is a really tough start because he was so pumped to go there and he'd never been to Sunset before. And it was disheartening for everybody involved, right? And we ended up loading up our stuff and going home that night just because it was rough, right? He was not having it, and I don't know, it was not good. But our team just has no quit. We took it home and dropped it off with my dad, and then I went to work, and him and my brother hooked it onto a tree and pulled it straight with the tractor, and we spent the rest of the week putting it back together, and we had it back out at the racetrack for the Thursday practice, right? There is just no quit in our team, so it's a good testament to that.
Now you guys have a little bit different of a kind of experience for Luke, because what we've kind of seen has been the typical route for kids that have been in the Bandoleros, which is a brand new division, but most of those kids that are in that division have either come with no racing experience or junior late model experience. So Luke is one of those that's kind of not been in the junior late models at all, but he has raced on dirt. So the transition from the dirt racing to the asphalt Bandoleros, how did that happen and how did that go?
Well, he just naturally is a very in control driver, right?
Okay.
That's a good way to describe him. That he really he doesn't get out of control, right? Which makes it really good, right?
Yes.
It doesn't. He's not the kind of driver that pushes too hard and loops the car 100 times. He finds that edge. He's really good, better than me at finding the edge and maintaining that, right? So, and I'm sure some of that transferred over from the dirt, right? Because that's what you have to do on the dirt, right? And you never know which racetrack you might get that night. It might be a fast, dry track, and it might be a slippery, whatever, bumpy, or especially the dirt track at Brighton. You just never know what it might be on that Thursday night. How much prep and everything went into it or was able to go into it, right? So, and I'm sure that helped a ton, right? And they gave him all that throttle control, and they're at Brighton, they're in a small enough racetrack that they can't really get into too much trouble, right? Worst case scenario is you go off the racetrack and into the ditch or into the water or into the tires, and you pull them back out and you keep on racing, right? So it's a really good place to not have too bad consequences to learn, right? And so he got to have that opportunity before getting in the bando, and then when he got in the bando, he's still a very cautious person, and you say keep it off the wall and keep it under control, and you don't even have to tell him, right? He he's just really good at that. Good car control.
There was, I think, aside from that one accident, there was the big one that they had this year at Peterborough, and that was obviously a massive one. It took, I think, most of the field with him. It was one of the craziest things. It's the Hudson Sellers actually flipped during
Yeah.
that one, and I know as an outsider who has SNS racers all involved in that pileup, I was freaking out about it. But I can't imagine as a parent seeing your kid go through and hit the outside wall. But he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was the first kid to pop out and say, "Oh, I'm okay," right up by the wall like that. Not just, and it's crazy how they do that. They're so resilient, kids.
Oh yeah, he marched over there with that swagger, just walking across there and to come find us, right? Like
Yep.
he was ready to get back in the race car, right? And he was more torn up because we couldn't get the car back on the racetrack for the next feature because the car got torn up. But
Yeah.
he was still ready to go, right? And I mean, good on him, right?
It's something that you want to see. You want to see kids that aren't getting bent out of shape over something like that. They're excited. They want to get going. They want to redeem themselves. And one of the things that I was really impressed with this year is that he's in a class with kids that are much older than him, that have a lot more experience. We're talking Lila Sigma, Keegan Moat, Landon Sellers. But the respect level that I saw that those kids are giving him was excellent to see. I know Sarah had talked to me about Keegan and how well Keegan treated Luke on the racetrack. And as again, seeing a competitive nature between all of these racers is one thing, but to see that kind of respect and treating each other so well off of it, it shows a lot, I think, for the future of racing, especially because you're seeing how they can get along, even in a situation after a big wreck like that.
No, I totally agree, right? And just the friendships we've already built and he's already built with kids that are much older and know each other from past racing, and he's been involved at the racetrack of the Legends cars forever, right? But doesn't really get involved in that junior late model scene hardly ever, right? Because it doesn't often go on the same nights as Legends cars do,
Yeah.
right? So he didn't really know a lot of other kids at the racetrack except for other Legends car family kids, right? So it's been amazing to see how welcoming everybody's been and how much help they are, and they cheer them on and they're happy to take pictures and get trophies, and it's been awesome, right? And from every single Bando driver, it's been awesome.
For yourself this year, the Ontario Legend Car Series is a little bit different. You didn't run the full season this year, but you were out there enough to see it's a little bit of a different landscape this year. You've got a lot more fresh faces coming into this division, and you have been one of the people that I wanted to get on here and chat with because you've been in it for quite a while. You've been in this division when it was really struggling for cars. And now it doesn't seem to be that way. It seems like it has got a lot of resurgence around it and a lot of interest. And I'm here for it because I think that this division especially has been underrated for so many years and really hasn't been given the respect that it deserves because there's a lot of options and a lot of freedom that you have with this class to go elsewhere and race kind of all over. But when you first got involved in it, were these legend cars a thing that people were really interested in?
I think it's kind of like every series where it goes in a bit of waves, right? Like when we first started, it was a fairly big series, right? You have that 15 or 20 cars out, and then you watch do the wave and then back up again, and just because people get in and get out, get discouraged, and people get excited, and just that just seems to happen all the time, right? And then you watch these people leave, and then oh shoot, what are we gonna do? But the next thing you know, there's more people buying race cars and showing up and learning new things, and that's the next group that's gonna keep going, and they're gonna tell their friends about it, and that seems to be what happens, right? And it's been a really cool series. We've been involved for a long time. I think we started racing in 2006, and we yeah, we've taken some breaks and we did a little late model racing there in the middle, but we ended up back in the Legends car again and just really enjoy our time in it, right? And we've done some racing down south, and and the freedoms it gives us, and we run two cars out of one trailer too, which is really help for cost and setups and everything, right? So it's been a really good place for me, anyways.
What do you think is the most difficult aspect of the legend car for these new racers to get adapted to? I mean, we know that Jake Spencer Wald has joined in this division. I mean, to go in and finish third in the point standings in your rookie season is a pretty impressive stat. But then you also got Keaton Pipe, who's also joined up and done very well. Um, it seems to it's starting. Cole Camrath has joined in. Del Freiberg. So the young generation is found legend car racing. So what do you think is going to be their biggest adjustment and something that they're going to have to kind of learn?
They're just the Legends cars are such a short wheelbase, and they're fairly powerful, and they're just difficult and twitchy to drive, right? And then just everything has to be perfect, and then the leaders are all their cars are perfect, right? So if you want to be there race with the leaders, you got to have everything right that night, and it takes all the effort you can do to do that. And it seems like a simple race car, and everybody compares it to a go-kart, but they absolutely have to be perfect to even think about running with the leaders, right? And that's I'm sure something that all these new teams have to learn, that you're not going to jump in there and go right to the front. You're not going to buy that win. You're not going to do any of that. You've gotta race your way. It's about seat time. You got to have a good equipment, but it's really about seat time in a Legends car.
You've been in this field for quite a while. So who is the most underrated driver that you see out there?
Underrated driver.
Maybe hasn't had the success yet, but somebody that you think we should be watching for, because they definitely could be.
I don't know. It's a very close field. I don't know. I see a lot of those drivers that are just getting to the top five right now, right? I see like Keaton Pike. He's just getting to that top five, right? And like to get in the top five in a Legends car is a big achievement, right? Like and it's a really close series, right?
You've been up there for so long, so I'm curious how it feels now seeing some of these other guys steal the thunder. Mitch Wright, Parker Traves, Dawson Drimmie. I mean, those three have kind of commanded this division the last year. So, I mean, you're always up there when you are competing. Your brother, actually, I'm seeing
he
Wes.
ran really good.
Wes is always up
really
there
good
as well. So, what is it like? I think that's the thing you have to say is like, yeah, Jake did finish third in points. However, he didn't get that feature win. And that's the thing that we're talking about. It's one thing to finish well in the point standings. I mean, you run consistently well all year. But it's another thing to get past all those names I listed to take that feature win. So, you know, it's like you're going to have to go through 4 or 5 veterans, masters of the craft, to get a victory. And that's a daunting task. And of course, we're talking about you're driving a legend car, which, as you said, a lot of power, a lot that you're going to have to deal with. But, you know, I head into 2026 with so much excitement for this division. I assume you always have that excitement for it because the legend cars have been your bread and butter over the last couple of years. But does it feel like a bit of a resurgence? Again, like you said, it goes through those waves. It feels like it's on a high right now.
It very much does, right? Like we're showing up to any night and having like we're talking about a B main almost every night, right? And that's it's crazy to think, right? I remember when we did this with 12 cars showing up, right? And now every single night it could be just a normal Peterborough night, and we're talking about, oh, is there going to be a B main tonight? And it's pretty cool to think that our series has grown that much and there's that many good quality cars ready to go, right? Like for ACC, like somebody like Paul Perrick, he's been involved forever. He had to run the B main, right? And
he did.
That's I don't know, tough to think back to where we started, right? And I mean, everybody made the show every night, right? And now there's cars getting sent home, right? Like that weekend at Sauble, there's always a B main and always cars going home, right?
Well, and it wasn't one or two. That's the thing it was like six. I think it was eight cars
Yeah.
that didn't make the show. I said I don't remember when that's been the case. Like you've got a period of, and again, it's an economical class. They're fun to drive, but as you mentioned earlier, you can go and race down south. You could
And so we
race.
did that last year.
Oh,
We
you
went to
did.
Evan Mills. We went to Evan Mills last year. Went down there for the John Burr weekend and really enjoyed our time down there. We had a blast at that racetrack. So we're
And
planning on getting down there.
there's nothing to change with the car doing that, right?
Yeah, because it's all spec from INEX, right? So we have a INEX rule book, so you can go down and run the shootout, and lots of guys do, right? And there's other lots of events all throughout the states, and we've been to Michigan in the past, we've been to Erie in the past, and we've done racing down south. We never really done much more than just the northern states because that's not really how
Yeah.
our team is. But I mean, Evan Mills is an easy one to get to, so we went there this year. My brother went down a couple times now, and it's a blast, right? And you
Gotta
get to
get
meet
you
a
guys
whole
out
new
to
group of people.
gotta get you guys out to Riverside. You gotta go out and do the high banks in Nova Scotia for when they do
Yeah,
the
they've got a big series out there too.
yeah, they got the IWK 250 weekend. You gotta the legends are the what is it? The League of Legends, I believe it is.
Yeah,
They run that at the big show on the Friday night, and it's just amazing that you have that. And I believe out west as well. I'm not sure which track, if it's Edmonton. It might be Edmonton that has them. But it was talked about. We had Robin on the show last week, and we've had plenty of racers from Ontario Legend Cars on here. You guys, if you really wanted to, could go and run in the UK on road courses as well with Legend Cars.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
There's a spec rule book. That's the cool thing about them is that all the parts are all spec parts. All the race cars are spec with a spec rule book. So unless a track makes an internal rule, but normally the internal rules are just like race procedures, right? And so it doesn't change the race car. It's just how you do restarts or it's how you do whatever lineups or chooses or whatever, right? It doesn't change the way that how the race car setup is.
if there's one thing that you'd like to see for the Legend Cars, is there something in mind that you'd like to see in the future?
Uh, I don't know. There's a thought in my mind that it just because of with the like instead of the A and the B, it'd be almost cool. I know down south they run because there's different divisions, right? There's masters and there's pros and there's semi-pros, young
Yeah.
lions, right? I know at tracks down south they'll run some of those classes together, right? Like they'll run the semi-pros and the young lions together, and the pros and the masters, or a different combination of that, right? And it's just Sarah and I have talked about it many times about how you would do that in Canada, right? Because everybody wants to be in the A main or whatever the highest division is, right? And we get that, but it's not all the same, right? Because it's just like you were saying, for some of these young guys coming up, they've got to go and race Mitch and Parker and me and whoever, right? And to get those victories and things it takes a long time to get there, right? And it could be discouraging, right? Especially for young lions coming up, right? They're 16 years old and got to race somebody who's 30 or 40 or
Mhm.
whoever, right? And it'd be interesting to if we could ever work that in to have it so we could break it up when we have these big car counts to run them in some sort of divisions, right? It's just difficult because how do you break up the purse is a good
Yeah.
question, and how do you and how do you who gets the big trophy, right? So if we're gonna break the purse up and give a lesser trophy and a lesser purse to the young lions, then if they can qualify for the pro division, why wouldn't they want to run that, right? So I
I yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
know,
good point. Because I know that the Great Lakes Legends, they run a Chargers race.
right?
But I mean, that's had like three cars in it, right? Which I mean, I understand the purpose of it. That's great that they ran it. Um, but that doesn't really solve the issue, right? Like at the same time, it would be an additional race on top of a heat and on top of a feature, which isn't really solving the issue, right? I think I definitely agree on that point though, because what you don't want to go through is what you guys had at Sauble a couple years ago, where it took, I think it took 45 minutes to get the first 10 laps of the race done because it was just chaos. That was, I
Yeah,
think, the race you guys had um, 36 show up and 24 started, I believe it was. And it was kind of chaos lap after lap after lap. But, I really appreciate you coming on, Adam, and chatting with me. I know we're definitely going to have you on in the future and chat some more when we get some news about the 2026 season and when their schedule is fully released. And, your invite is always open. We'll have you with Luke on as well, and we'll get you guys both on the show at the same time.
He'd love that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam. The best for the holiday season, and have yourself a great night.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye now.
That is Adam Cuthbertson from the Ontario Legend Car Series. I have been your host, Cam K, here on G-Force TV. We've got still 2 more episodes before the end of the year, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Not sure if we're going to do guests and have them next week for the week of Christmas and the week after. It gets very difficult to get guests on a regular basis, but we'll probably throw it out there for people if they want to be a part of the show, that they're more than welcome. But if not, we will be around, and we might just do some year of the end stuff and some questions. But we didn't need a Q&A tonight because we got great guests that were nice and chatty. So I really appreciate you all for coming in and joining us tonight. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll catch you all next week on ONTrack Weekly.